What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 5. So I actually wanted to pick up this episode from Skywest Bridge as there was a few things I wasn't able to cover as we were low on time. So for one, we're going to want to enter Umbral to go up and talk to Mulhu. Going through Pilgrim's Perch, you guys got the Bowl of Revelations. Now, just turning in this quest item does automatically get you a trophy, but this will also upgrade his shop and unlock your boss remembrances.
Ah, their delights.
Alright, so there you go. So with that, like I said, you will now see you're now going to see that you're able to turn in your boss remembrances and get those boss weapons. And aside from that, if you go on up here to persons, I said if you're trying to put together an early Umbral build, you got a catalyst and 2 spells, but now you have poison weapon, which is a solid buff. Obviously, you're going to get poison damage, but it also gives a pretty good boost to base damage overall. And then you're going to have Umbral Guardian, and then your first Umbral Ring. Ring isn't, particularly great. It allows you to stay in Umbral longer before the Red Reaper comes. If you're trying to farm up any sets for trophies or maybe some consumables, you'll be able to do so. And then with that, you also have a respec item. Once again, these are very, very rare. I would probably try to farm up the souls as soon as possible just to put this in the back pocket, because even if you aren't going to change your build, sometimes you might just want to dial in your stats a bit, and that's going to be a really nice item to have around mid-game. Now, jumping into your boss remembrances. First over here, we have the Congregator of Flesh. This one's not particularly great. In general, early game boss souls just aren't going to be the best. However, Pieta's does stand out a bit, but this one's about what you would expect. So you have your first Umbral spell, 1919, unleash a shower of rotting body parts and assorted fluids. It's just not that great. It's the same thing the boss was doing where he sent that wave of body parts at you. That's exactly what you're going to get. Aside from that, you have a Strength Radiance weapon. Once again, not particularly great. You get physical and you get wither. No holy, no smite, nothing really crazy. If you like it, it's there. Now, jumping into Pieta's is actually surprisingly good, especially since this was your very first boss remembrance. So her armor set, it's actually really nice. I like it quite a bit. Not so bad. You have this spell here. Now, what's cool is with the update, they dropped the Radiance requirement from 30 to 20. However, they boosted the mana cost from 100 to 150. It's going to annihilate your mana. It summons 2 clones of Pieta to like 1 attack. However, if it's not lined up properly, you're going to miss it. So if you can get it lined up, it does a bunch of damage. However, it's very expensive, and it doesn't always work depending on how you're set up. Now, with that, we will pick this up once we have the extra Umbral Scourings, but what we really want to do is get on up to 40 Umbral Scourings for Pieta's sword. So for the recommended Radiance build, this is a weapon that carries the whole game, or at least carries until you might find something that you like better. However, it's going to be a while, right? So we got about 35 Umbral Scourings. We'll have enough to actually get this weapon this episode. So this is going to be purely holy damage. Now with that, holy damage hits hard. So it might not be as flashy as some of the other numbers, but it doesn't need to be. That's just how powerful holy is. It is all holy. And with that, you also have 90 smite build up, and it's a quick weapon. It's a short sword that has a lot of range, so you can quickly build up statuses and get huge procs on their health bar. And then, like I said, you're just really stacking up that holy damage, which will scale up your radiance. Now we still need 5 levels in radiance to get this, and then a few Umbral Scourings, which brings me to my next thing. I did tell you guys last episode that once we started turning in quest items to Dunmire, he starts getting some really nice stuff for the recommended build, so I would go ahead and farm up souls. So if you notice, I went ahead and farmed up 10,000. So we're not going to put these in levels, obviously. We don't want an unfair advantage. However, we can get quite a few things. So over here, Mulhu actually sells 3 of your Umbral Scourings. So I'm going to go ahead and pick those up. So we have them. So now all we need is to literally go and get like 1 Stigma, and then we'll be at our 40 mark for Pieta's sword. Now, if you guys, don't have 3,000, you could literally just go sell some of your consumables and get it, guys. And you have your plucked eyeballs. Like, I can get some of my plucked eyeballs turned in right now for Umbral Scourings to get Pieta's sword. Instead, I'm just going to naturally get them, but I'm just saying, it's there for everybody. We all have access to the same things. Pick it up. So going over here to Dunmire, after we turned in the quest items, he now has Cleansing Spring, so this will allow us to cleanse status effects, which is going to be really nice going into a poison area. We are going to pick up some of the pieces of his new set, because I do like it quite a bit. Yeah, we're like just short here, so that's like 200. We saw that. So that, we picked that up. Now, this is what I was saying about Lords of the Fallen. Typically, you'd have to wait a very long time to get really nice armor in any Souls or RPG games for that matter. However, in Lords of the Fallen, you absolutely get spoiled if you're doing quests. Check this out. This is so nice. And you do want to always use your teams too, guys. That's what really makes it shine. But we could simply just go, put on something here, and this is going to look like an in-game armor set. It's very nice, very flashy, just nice clean appearance. I like that a lot. Like I said, Lords of the Fallen definitely spoils you a bit, if we're being honest. But either way, guys, with that caught up, we are officially ready to get started. So just a few things that will help you along the way. Obviously, we need to get our trophy from the Bowl of Revelation, and we did want to talk about our boss stuff. But everything else, this maintenance is important. Selling your items you're not using to get levels is important, and we want to make sure we're always set up the best we possibly can be. Now, getting into the fin, everything up to this area got knocked out last episode. So over here is your poison arrows. If you have not followed along, make sure you get those as our trophy related. And I guess since we're starting here, let's just go through it fresh. Fuck it. So as we go over here to the right, this is where your poison arrows were. So they'd be right there at the end. Like I said, if anyone's tuning late, you want to make sure you get those. That is related to your all ammo trophy. Now going on up, you got to watch these guys. They're really sneaky. They're like kind of laying on the ground, and you can't really see. Oh, there. You can't really see them the best. So typically, you'll move past that point and you turn around. It's like 4 degrees behind you. Yeah, that you did not notice whatsoever. Thank you. This gentleman is one of the more elite enemies. He's called the Strider. Super annoying, not particularly dangerous. So like, he spit up poison at you. He likes to push you on the ground, which knocks you down. That's a little annoying, but it's not really that difficult. Just kind of dodge around, put him down. Got that. They see these guys are just kind of popping up from under the water. That's what makes it tricky. So you will see these little ripples. Whenever you see that, that's typically, where they're at. Thank you. Like right here. I told you. They're sneaky. Very, very sneaky. Now, since we get to this doorway, we're going to take these 2 guys out. I guarantee you if we turn around, there's 3 enemies. 1, 2, 3. Told you. And that's what I'm saying. You go through, you're being thorough, you feel like you've killed every single one of them, and yet there's still some behind you somewhere, right? So progressing, right behind this tree, some upgrades. Want to make sure we get those. Then we're going to enter Umbral. Now over here is a Despair that we're going to have to take out your Moth Lady, and then all the way down to Strength Weapon. She will not animate until you grab this weapon. So this is the Angel's Axe. It's okay. The fact of the matter is, you're just going to get stuff way better in not that much time. So I would just use it how it is. Let you see your choices, and if you still like it after that, go with it. But throwing upgrades into something, then finding something, one episode later you like better. There we go. There's a sequence. Told you, they drop them. They drop them. Alright, so as we progress from here, you're going to see this kind of down tree. We're going to use that as a marker. We don't want to go past this point, because that's like the whole back section to the zone, back half. But these guys are right here, so I do like to take them out. Thank you. And we'll start working our way up. Now, same thing. As you progress here, there's going to be a bunch of guys that literally jump from the ground up top. See that? So you're going to want to turn around, just make sure, they're not getting over on you. Thank you. What we're doing now is really just working towards your first shortcut, first real shortcut at least. So we'll drop this for later. Yep, we got some late bloomers. Got some late bloomers, guys. Thank you. Alright. So right back here is going to be your shortcut. I don't know how easy that one would be to get. Probably going up top, isn't it? No, let's go all the way down. It's alright, not a big deal. If it's easy, we'll grab it. If not, we'll find others. Alright, guys, so it is going to be good just to kind of rest. More than anything else, just pull yourself out of Umbral. I mean, you have to go back in Umbral, but we want all of our heals and all of our resources back. So from this point, we're going to be doing an optional area. So we're going to enter Umbral. So we take him out, we should have our health right back. Thank you. And you're going to notice this ladder. So ladder was obviously here before, but we didn't want to touch this since we got that shortcut. Grab some upgrades there. These guys, for whatever reason, seem to have more health and more damage, and there's definitely some elite enemies up here, like really elite enemies, so I would grab a buff up. Why not? Keep you safe. We're going to have a guy right behind here. Oh, he's not dead. And then Mr. Strider. So you see he's kind of like skipping poison rocks at you. Alright, so right over here is something highly worth a mention. So we picked up a taint there called Harbinger. There's a stigma that appears here. You need all stigmas for your trophy, and plus you want those umbral scourings. But if you notice, it's not here. So this is where the game tries to get really sneaky. After you take out the boss of the zone, the Hush Saint, you have to come back because a stigma appears there. Don't ask me how I know. Don't ask me how I find it. You know, I got lucky. But like I said, I do a really good job when I take notes. I'm really thorough. But yeah, it's something that would really sneak past you. I mean, I didn't find it for a long time. Long time. But what it did is it relates to what's called your Halloween event, which is one of the bonus quests added later on. So they added a certain amount of stigmas you have to find for this quest for a hidden boss fight. But it wasn't originally there when the game was released. However, we're still going to need that. So there's your farm. That's what I told you. Remember the tutorial boss, the Holy Bulwark? I said you find them around the world, you can farm the largest. So this episode, we're going to show you a absolutely phenomenal farm to farm up large cerulean. That way you don't have to just stick with one weapon your whole playthrough, maybe two. You know, you really have choices going forward. Now here, I'll typically just enter Umbral, but we'll see if we can just get this guy from here. There he goes. If you don't have to enter Umbral, just use your lamp. But if you're trying to, you know, use your lamp and he hits you with the arrow, you're going bye-bye. Alright, so as we progress, we do want to go up first. There's going to be a dead end on the right where we grab some stuff. Then we're actually heading right back over to where the Congregator of Flesh fight was. If you guys remember, there was that platform that broke and there was like an archer on the other side. Well, that's where we're heading now. So if you notice, there's two Holy Bulwarks here. So that's why this is the farm. Because, you know, it's farming, you're not guaranteed to get none of it. But being able to farm two of those with one route is going to be really nice. Especially if you can get lucky. You know, I gotta tell them. But yeah, if you could actually get lucky and get them both to drop largest, man, that's going to be great. I want to put that on and maybe use some teams, see how that looks. Looks kind of cool, don't it? Don't look bad at all. Alright guys, so moving forward, this is going to be the archer that was giving you a hard time earlier. And a pretty damn good agility weapon. It's actually a colossal greatsword for agility. It's 15 strength requirement. Very much an agility scaling weapon. So, rest from Saw's sword, and it's at +3 already. Like I said, there are really good choices for agility. They just, you know, don't really stand out like some of the other builds. But still you're going to get some really good stuff. Alright, so now we start working our way back down. Now, as soon as we get down here, we're going to be at your first stigma, and you could already get Pieta's sword. Unfortunately, we won't have the levels just yet, but we'll have them shortly. So once we naturally get to 25 radiance, then we'll jump back and get it. But as far as the scourings, you're already going to have them if you went and bought those three. If not, you're going to be really close. You can use plucked eyeballs, or just wait for the next few stigmas. So there's going to be a few here, not to worry. Everyone should have it. I mean, honestly, if you follow the walkthrough, everyone should have it this episode, let's be honest. If not, you miss something somewhere, you'll be one behind. So, although we do have stuff in Umbral to do, we're going to go ahead and drop this shortcut so we don't deeply regret it. It's kind of a lot of shit we just fell through. So there is your stigma, so we officially have 40 Umbral scourings. Thank you. Now we're about to go into this cave to get some pretty good stuff, and meet a new enemy type. This enemy's super annoying. Actually, right now they don't seem like shit. They don't, but as you progress and this enemy gets stronger, they're going to be worse and worse. And that's called the gremlins. It's because they're always flying at you and trying to kick you, and they're really hard to get to. But they love to knock you off of shit. That's kind of their thing. So they're super annoying. Luckily right now they're fairly low level. Go ahead and grab your Suja Harmony Hoop. So this is for a casting build. Every spell you cast will do more damage than the last. Then if you're switching type of magic with spells, it's going to do even more damage. So if you did an Umbral build and you're using like Umbral, Radiance, and Inferno spells, as you switch spell types, you're going to nuke shit. Now, the thing of it is this catalyst only lets me cast Radiance. Some only let you cast Inferno, and some only let you cast Umbral. You might be thinking, well, how are you going to cast all three? Well, there's going to eventually be rings where it's like, cast Radiant sorcerers with a non-Radiant catalyst. You got one for Radiant, you got one for Inferno. So if you do an Umbral build, you'd have on that catalyst. You do like, Umbral spell, Radiant spell, Inferno spell, and as you cast those spells with that hoop on, you're just going to do insane damage. So after each spell cast, further spells temporarily deal increased damage. Casting spells from different magic schools further amplifies this effect. So, like I always say, the only thing that holds you back in these games is your own creativity. So if you really pay attention to the items you're getting and you read about them a bit, you're going to know that there is some wicked shit you can do. Crazy shit you can do. Alright, so now that we've closed that off, that's the farm, guys. What you would do is you just run through that. You go out this way, you go up that ladder, run on down, kill both holy bulwarks, rest here, rest, repeat, or you could rest here. You can just run past all the other enemies. You're just trying to farm for those larges, right? And that's the the best and easiest way to do so. So from this point, just go ahead and keep working up that radiance. We've got to get to that 25 mark. Ooh, just short, just short. We got like 4 levels to get. I wonder if we have any no, we didn't pick any up yet. That's okay. That's okay. So from this point, we're going to go back into our shortcut. And what I like to do is just try to kill whoever I can up top, just to make life even easier. We're about to go on down and start really getting into it here. Someone behind me? I thought so. I was like, who the hell hit me? Thank you. Anyone else? Try to thin these numbers down a bit. We're actually going to drop down behind us, like I said. We don't want to get, really piled on here. So if we get thin up our numbers a bit, it's going to be really nice. So as soon as you go out the shortcut, if you guys remember that ladder we dropped, so right here, like vines or bamboo, whatever the hell you want to call it, you can break on through. Typically a few enemies in here. I think it may be an umbral. Yeah, it's an umbral. Unless these guys come in. Take him out. We're going to start just working our way outside. There's going to be a few guys down here in the swamp as well. Now, when you come out of that cave, what we're really trying to do is just stick to the left-hand side. You're going to see another cave right here. So what we're going to want to do is break on through. Switch from this to your hand. Put on your Empyrean Grenade. We told you this was related to a quest. Make sure you keep it in your inventory, right? So once you throw that, this is going to free Cucin. So she was pretty much enclosed in stone, and being that is radiant, that is able to free her. And once you talk to her here, she's just going to give you a little bit of lore about some cursed necklace, and she's going to give it to you thinking it's all powerful, and it's really like a defensive necklace. But we do need to start her quest line, so we want to exhaust her dialogue and move her on.
Since you seem to think but and good riddance, I only had it because if I'd never trust. Well, but I feel meet me at the bridge, and it seemed in this dump. Then we'll talk. I don't know, but I'd bear in mind.
All right. So now that you've done that, just quit out low back in. We need her to move. Good news is, when she does, right behind her is our next Radiant Catalyst. Now, the best Radiant Catalyst don't come for a long, long time. So this is something that will hold you over. I wouldn't put a bunch of larges into it unless you farm those up, so you don't use the ones you find. But it'll at least hold us until we get something better, for sure. That's going to be will marks right there. We got it +2, which isn't the best. But if we can get that up to like +5, I think it'll do quite well to, hold us over for a time. Now, from there, things are going to pick up a bit. If we still have all these guys over here in Axiom, then we're going to have to get an Umbral as well. Just try to, run through them. Just past this point, if you're in Axiom, there's going to be 2 guys on stilts, just spamming spells. I mean, they'll be there in Umbral too, but in Axiom, you can't get to them. So that's kind of the thing. You're going to have to use spells. Now, that one we just put on is +2. So our damage should be up a little bit more. There we go. That's him. The other one shouldn't really give us too much shit, but I do want to take out this guy real quick. The other one, we're going to be an Umbral. We're just going to rush them down. So if you can get to them, you just whack their stilts, and that will drop them. They won't take damage from it, but statuses can build up still, and that will cause damage. So when we go down here, we are going to go to the left-hand side first. And remember, you get souls from this stuff, guys. Plus, why risk hitting it, right? Why risk hitting it? Hit him, hit him. You pop that. What are you gonna give me? It's something. Alright, so when you go all the way down, you're gonna get the javelin. So this is a poison javelin. Another item you need for your trophy, but if you're using throwable items, it's something. Now, I will say if this item is not here, it's because one of these enemies dropped it. So sometimes they just, they have a chance of dropping that for whatever reason. And if one of them happens to drop it for you, instead you'll find ammo there. Pretty rare if it happens, but, if you don't see that there, check your inventory. Chances are you have that javelin. Now, moving forward from this point, I do like to buff. Like I said, the status will get to him even if the physical doesn't. Regardless, we're going to drop him down. But if you can build up smite, it'd hurt him. Like that. So that's how smite works, guys. It's really cool. It's just like a lightning bolt that comes and shreds the enemy. What are you doing, son? Oh, you're just trying to be a chicken shit. Stay out of the fight. You know what? Do it the old-fashioned way. So these are your poison pups, I like to call them. These little puppy dogs that just build up poison on you. Super annoying. If you can deflect their attacks, it lets you like stomp on them and destroy them, which is kind of cool. How much oh, we have quite a bit of poison. Let's get rid of that. Try to just use these to get our health back. Alright. So as you progress here, eventually you're going to kind of go right in between these houses. There's going to be another despair. So we're going to go take her out. You see, we're kind of just running through her, we got a few upgrades in each weapon. The Radiant just destroys some enemies. Destroys and burns enemies. That's why we chose it. That's what most of it is. If there's a lot more holy enemies in the game, we may have recommended a different build. So, what it is, it does a very, very fine job. Alright, got your upgrade. So that should put us up to +5 next time we jump back. Now from here, we're going to want to go up this building. Go take him. You're going to get another throwable item. This one's weird. It's called a burrower. It kind of like burrows under the ground, I'm guessing. I never used those. I did read about it. There's a few you get. One late game is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, that one just kind of seems odd. Now, as soon as you come out of here, there's one other thing I want to grab while we're right here. But first, we're going to go and plant a seedling. That way, if you guys get killed, we are right here, right? We're right here. So the only other thing that's in the immediate vicinity, at least, is right here. So we're going to go on up. He must have fell down. Usually there's a Strider up here. He's guarding this weapon. It's nothing particularly great. It's just your warrior spear. Typically, you probably have like 12 of these dropping from enemies, but that's just the game giving you a guaranteed weapon in case you didn't get that drop. Ooh, 2 levels, 2 levels. Love it, love it. Let's go and check our time, 22 minutes. Alright, so there's one little area left I would like to wrap up with this episode, and then next episode we'll wrap up with the zone. But there's a little optional area with a hidden boss over here I want to go and knock out. I do believe we have the time to hit this set. Okay, guys, we're not going to corner me. No, we are not. So annoying. So annoying. Thank you. Yeah, it gets pretty fucking tedious at times. So going on now, everything to the left-hand side is now done. So we're going to start working our way on over to the right-hand side. Now, this is a shortcut we don't have unlocked yet. Right over here on the right. However, I don't want these fucking assholes sandwiching us in front of other enemies too. We're going to just kind of go for them. Thank you. Alright, so right here. This is a shortcut we'll knock down in a bit. But like I said, these guys are all kind of grouped up. If they come behind us, we're probably going to have a bad time. Thank you. So this will take us where we go, but this way is a lot more confusing. So instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight in. So there's going to be a fork in the road where you can either go straight or you can go through a building to the right-hand side. So going straight brings you to the end. That's the next episode. So we're not going to do that just yet. Come here, doggy. Instead, we're going to be going through this side path, though. We've got to get all these assholes out of the way. They just fucking bury you at times, guys. They fucking bury you. Alright, now there's going to be a lot of bigger skulls here, too. There's a few. Thank you. Now we have to go to Umbral. That's why I'm not going to use any more healings. Alright, there you go. So if you get Umbral, you get Umbral. We got to go regardless. So, as mentioned, if you go straight past that point, that's going to take you to the last section and the main boss. That's the next episode. So instead, we're going to go in here to the right. Oh, you bitch. Oh, he took all my withered health, and now I don't have a choice. Right. So we're going to take him out, get your drops, and there's going to be another despair right down here. I think she's right here to the left. Take her down before she gets out. This is going to be your Redur ring. It actually gives you resistance to poison, but this is what I hate about this game. This is not the only time they do it either, but they give you a resistance ring while you're towards the end of that zone. Like we do a frostbite ring. The one ring that could help us get through is the frostbite resistance ring, and we get it at the end. And there's only one frostbite zone, you know, pretty much only one poison zone. So I always get a little irritated by that. But, I mean, there it is, so you can use it for, you know, the last little bit of the area. I mean, this one we kind of get halfway through the zones, that's better, but yeah. Frostbite one, you definitely get through it. Damn, buddy, figured you'd have to breathe at some point. Alright, so let's go ahead and just try to use our consumables to heal. Make sure we're not missing any items. Alright, so when you go in here, there's going to be a fork in the road. We can go left, or you can go to the right. So we got to go to the right first, but I'm just going to try to get these guys down if I can hit them. That way we don't have to deal with them later. So over here on the right, if you break on through, this is going to progress with the Wayfarer's quest line. Now we have to talk to him here. We have to exhaust his dialogue, or he will not move on. This is very important. You have to find him. That's a little hidden area in the zone, right? I love how they just bury shit in the game. Right.
I made a mistake.
So this is that path if you would have went straight, and I told you it's way more confusing, because if you would have went this way instead of going through the village, you got to remember, you'd have to backtrack everything we did to the left, and then you'd have to backtrack again to get to this other area we're about to do over here on the right. So that's what I'm saying. Go through the village. It's a lot less confusing. Much less confusing. Drop. Thank you. Alright. Don't rush forward just yet. So there's going to be a trap. I guess you can kind of rush in and run back over behind this rock. That's what I typically do. Thank you. Thank you. Alright, now there will be one more trap. There's a Strider up here hiding behind some boulders. He's going to push them towards you, so I'll kind of do the same thing. Trigger. And run back. Usually by the Spencer, okay? It just depends. And there's Mr. Strider. Hey, bub. I'm not giving him the chance to get that shit off on me. Fuck no. Sometimes there may still be a dog behind you, just, you know, double check. So now that we took him out, over here on the right hand side, it's a really, really nice shortcut. Now, typically I'd just push through to this boss we're about to take out, but we're going to go ahead and rest. Unfortunately, these guys will respawn. However, I would really recommend resting and getting your heals before this fight. So there's a hidden boss fight over here. Unfortunately, the fight's an Umbral. The boss is a Umbral boss. That means you have to go in an Umbral. There is no second chance here. You just gotta, you know, get through it. So we will go over the guide once we get right outside the door. But right now, you know, we gotta work our way to him. You guys might forget half what I tell you, so you know, we'll hold off on that. I wonder if I could just, I could pop mana clusters. Maybe we could just spin them up from here. Yep. Alright. So now we got them down, we just go right on up for the fight. So this is your Mendacious Visage. This is a really big guy. He's got like a stone face. You can't really do any damage to him until he opens up his face. Actually, let's get set up here. So we're going to get some mana stone clusters. Going in here, no, we got our weapon buff. That'll be plenty. So let's start working on that mana. So either way, Mendacious Visage. So firstly, there's somewhat of a gimmick here. You're going to have a little tiny arena to fight him in, and then at the back corner there's a dock with 3 Wither Witches. However, there's a Umbral entity, so you're going to go in, the first obstacle's on your left, the next one is semi to your right. Once you get rid of these obstacles, you can go straight on back through the door. Then we're going to run on the dock to kill the 3 Wither Witches. That way we can just fight him head up. And Mendacious Visage, really big stone face. You can attack him from the back to do damage, but if you do that way, you really got to dodge 12 of his moves. If he jumps, there's an AoE. You get those little worms, so build up frostbite and lock down half your stamina. He could do like a charge attack, but mainly he's just going to jump, belly flop. He's very persistent, so a lot of dodging, so there will be a little AoE burst. charges. Now, if you soul flame, you could open him up. That way, you could damage him from the front or behind. It won't matter. And if his face is already opened and you soul flame, you can get a critical attack. Now, your soul flame charges are going to be limited. You could use on both vertebrae, or you could try to siphon the pustules in this arena, and that will refill soul flame charges. So everyone thinks it's easier to just kind of fight him with his face open and soul flame to do that. I think it's easier to fight him from the behind. Then I don't have to sit here and wait on him to open up his face before I can attack. So what everyone else says is harder, I find much easier, if I'm being honest. So while that takes its time to clear up, we're going to try to pull him back, because we don't want him doing any of his bullshit. And like I said, if you see the little maggots or worms he spews up, that's frostbite and wither damage. So try to stay away from those. You could actually siphon them to get rid of them. And that's the other thing. He's going to do little slams with his hand. He'll send a bunch of wither at you. But that's really it, because you're going to be dodging to get behind him. That shouldn't really, shouldn't get in your way that much if you're dodging him properly. Alright, so now we should have a fair fight. And that's what we want to do. We're just going on that dock to get a fair fight. We want to get rid of them so we can make this a fair fight. So if he opens up on his own, get that critical. But if it's going to take you one soul flame charge just to open and one more just to critical, you've wasted both soul flame charges for one critical attack, which is not good for the game. So while he's open, we're doing damage. Oh, yeah, I'm getting greedy. Yeah. So his company's super annoying, as you can tell. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run away, try to get some health back. Thank you. Now, like I said, I don't have any more soul flame charges, so that's why you want to try to use them sparingly. But still, dodges off. Yep, he's very persistent, guys. So while he's doing that, it's a really nice opening to try to get behind. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not really worried about the hand slams, if you will. Alright, buddy. We need you to do something now. Besides just... For real? Will that help? Alright. You want to really try to dodge through it like that. Oh, now you want to do something. Now you want to do something. I love this. He's just sitting there forever, refusing to do anything. As soon as I go for a consumable, now he wants to suddenly move. You know what I mean? Suddenly fucking move. So this is really annoying. Let's get off of here. He seems off for whatever reason. Like his AI. I don't know what the fuck's going on. For one, he rarely goes back there. For two, when he does, he never just stands still like that. So this is, it's not doing us any favors whatsoever. And he's about dead, too. We got, like, one good hit. So his face is open. I'm probably just going to rush him down and finish him off. Enjoy it while you can. Thank you. So, a little annoying. Like I said, AI bugs out sometimes. If he's down here, it's not so bad. It's easy to read. You have the room to get behind him. And that's what I said. That's more of a cool-off spot where you're going to heal. You're going to stand away. I mean, obviously, you want to kill the enemies first. But this is where you want to fight. However, he just didn't want to come down, So we had no choice but fight him up there, and it didn't go as smooth. But as you see, guys, it's not tough. It's just lining things up properly. With him out of the way, you're going to get a few items. You got a hammer. You got... his mask, which is actually a guaranteed drop, so that's his set, already knocked off the list. Get good consumables and a boatload of souls. Now, once you have him taken out, right back there, clear that hut, get your purifying bomb, my favorite bomb in the game, because it cleanses every status effect. Super powerful. It's the only one I need. Because I don't want to have to dig through every single status effect and figure out what I need to cleanse. Purifying, does that. Now, once we got that, we're just working our way around. Now, you'll see this ladder, and you're like, oh, I'm done. And then you'd actually miss the most important item up here. So what you want to do is keep rolling around. Then right over here, we could pick up, I think it's Vanguard Burst's Rosary. Yep, Vanguard Burst's Rosary. At least that's why I wrote them down. There's another one, too, that we pick up soon. I always get their names mixed up regardless. Either way, you guys could exit Umbral if you like. Now, what's perfect about where we put our seedling, this lines up so nice. Check it out. So we just walk, get to the far right, drop, turn around, seedling. Couldn't have planned that better. Now from here we're going to rest up, and I'm pretty sure we have exactly what we need for Pieta swords. I thought we'd get mid episode, but I told you we would have it this episode for sure. As you see, we do. So there you go, perfectly at 25. Now we can jump on back to Skyrest. I love it when a plan comes together. You know what I mean? So let's go and get up to plus 5.
Fellow vessel.
Plus 3, we get, we get our 5 heals from that.
And into you.
Then before we wrap up, the only other thing I would like to do is go grab our main weapon. So for that, we're going to go talk to Mulhu. Yeah, dead on 40. Yep, told you. We're in good shape here. So offer remembrance. That's because we bought the 3 from him. If you did not, you might be 3 short. Just buy him. You know, we're able to get our weapon. Buy him. It's 3,000. Sell some stuff. Get it done. Now with that, we have our main weapon. Now remember, we don't have any upgrades into this. So with the pre-upgraded loot modifier, it doesn't work for boss weapons, unfortunately. So we have to fully bring those up. But it does help with everything else. So I'm going to see if we can go and pull this off. Upgrades are kind of pricey in this game, to say the least. Let's see how high we can get. So we did. We got that up to plus 3. Our other weapons at plus 2, but I'm fine with that. And we actually could get up to plus 4 here. I don't have the souls. I might work on that in my own time. The Pieta sword's actually going to be better with like a shield because one-handed is really stacking that up. You're building that smite. You're getting huge procs to enemy health bar. And then obviously, just that status alone, the smite's what really makes it stand up. But pure holy damage is absolutely devastating. It's very fast. I like dual-wielding it, but only one of these weapons is actually building up the smite. So it actually slows it down and, takes that status off. So I would recommend just using this with a shield for a bit if I was you guys. Now, if you don't have the stats to use a shield, two-handed, or, just use this. It's still really good. I just don't think it shines as much for quite a while. Sword and shield is going to be the way to go. And then when we get later into the game, we will have a really nice offhand weapon to pair with this. However, it's just, it will be a bit. Now, either way, guys, now that we got all that wrapped up, we're actually going to close out here at Skyrest as we're going to have to progress a few quest lines at the start of next episode. Then we'll be pushing forward towards your next remembrance boss and to close up the fin.